We shot an artillery shell firework at a car. Beginning of cross country season, and the seniors would always get together the night before a cross country race, like Friday night, get together, go out to eat somewhere, like a team dinner, and then go home for the night. Well, our senior year, we had a couple new guys named, we'll call them Jake and Ben, were new to the team, and they had heard all of our, shenanigan stories of going out and messing with neighborhoods and houses, so they wanted to come experience that with us. They probably couldn't have picked a worse time to come with us because Beef and I had gotten into this firework phase. Over the summer, all those firework tent sales around 4th of July, we found this old dude who would sell us their artillery shells that you drop in the tube for $5 a pack. So we bought a shit ton of artillery shells. He had these industrial sized bottle rockets. I think people have seen those before, but these ones were literally just like an artillery shell taped to a stick, and they were huge. So we had discovered that these artillery shells, since the wick's so long, we could be driving around in Lenny's van, light them, rolling down the street, and boof, they would just blow up and light up the whole neighborhood right in the middle of the street and make this crazy wicked explosion sound because it's a fucking firework. So we would go around in the neighborhoods and literally just light the wick, drop them, let them roll, and then poof, they would explode. So, and we'd always, do it late at night and make sure it was on a dead end street or somewhere where there weren't cars or people, and we always just got to kick out all the lights in the neighborhood houses, turn it on, because what the fuck was that? So me, Griff, 7'5", Beef, Lenny's driving us, so it's the usual 5, and then Monty, we'll call him Monty, Jake, and Ben, were kind of the newbies to this process, and they're in the car with us. So we go into the same neighborhood that we messed with that goalie's house, and then went over across the street, the neighborhood with thousands of people in it, and the guy that chased us after we messed with his house, that's the neighborhood we get into. And we go right to this guy's house first. We're like, you know what? Let's just go right to this guy's house. Because, obviously now we have created a kind of a beef with this man. And, it never failed that he would chase us anytime we ding-dong-ditched his house or lit fireworks or anything like that. And I don't know if he knew it was the same kids every time, but, it was a pretty entertaining thing. So I have a artillery shell. I light it. And I just kind of, he had this perimeter of pine trees. I lob it right in his backyard. I hear it boop, 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 bounce. And then boom, and his whole backyard just lights up with this blue explosion, and we take off. Well, we threw a couple other artillery shells throughout the night, and at the end of the night, we're leaving the neighborhood. And again, like I said, thousands of houses in this neighborhood, so it's this main 2-lane road that kind of goes all the way through the neighborhood. You have all these little subdivision roads that go into other parts of the neighborhood. So we're on the main road, and we're kind of digging through the firework bag. We literally had a bag of fireworks, and we're digging through the bag, and Beef's like, oh, I got the industrial-sized bottle rocket. And we're like, yeah, let's light it off. So Beef and I had discovered they were so big that unless you stuck them in the ground, they wouldn't shoot up. If you laid them on the street, they would stay straight on the line and explode on the road like a low-flying firework. And it was sick. It made this awesome sound, and, just guy stuff, I guess, but explosions and colors are cool. So we were excited to lay it down on this street, and we were going to have it shoot over this little pond in the neighborhood. I think all the neighborhoods have the man-made little fishing ponds with the fountain and stuff. We're going to have it shoot right over the pond and explode. So Lenny whips in, parks the van on one of the side streets. Lenny's sitting in the van, and Jake, Ben, 7'5" stay in the van with him. Me, Beef, Griff, Monty, we get out. We're on the street. So we're kind of hiding one of those neighborhood names with the big brick display where it has the name of the neighborhood. We're hiding behind one of those, letting cars pass. And once it's been clear, we're like, all right, it's clear. And we waited for 20 minutes. We waited till no one was around, and we had Beef run out, set it down, light it. So Beef lights it, and we're watching the wick run, right? The wick, you see the wick getting down to right where it's about to take off. And as soon as you start to hear the whistling sound of the bottle rocket, we see headlights, and we're like, fuck, car. And Beef's trying to kick it, stomp out the wick. Well, it's too late, right? So as soon as you see the headlights coming right at us, you see, whoo, and this firework takes off beelines right dead at the car. And I'm just frozen in shock. I'm like, this cannot be happening. Beef, Griff, Monty, they're doing the same thing. We're just like, no way, this is happening right now. It kind of takes off a little bit, not much. The car has to swerve, and it just boom, it explodes. It explodes right as it's passing the car. So the car swerves out of the way, comes to a stop, and you could tell that the driver of the vehicle had to be in just as much shock as us. The car's just sitting there, and we're very rarely do I just freeze in those situations, but I'm just frozen. I'm like, holy shit, that did not just fucking happen. Oh my God. Like, I couldn't even like process the situation. And here comes Lenny's van. And he whips out and he's like, come on, we got to get in the car. So Jake's in the back, and again, the sliding mini door van. So he had left one open. So as we whip around, he's got his hand on the oh shit bar, and he's holding Lenny's door handle, and he's like, come on, we got to get in the car. So I think Beef jumped in the car, and as Griff, Monty, and I started running, and it was like a white Jaguar sports car, blacked out rims, blacked out windows. It's cooking towards us. And Lenny's like, I gotta go. So Lenny hammers the accelerator right as Monty goes to jump in the van, and Monty lands flat on his face on the side of the road. His knees are all tore up from all like the pebbles and rocks on the side of the road. So me and Griff grab Monty, run into the woods, and we're hiding up in the woods, and I'll never forget this image as Lenny's accelerating up the winding main road of this neighborhood. Here comes this Jaguar behind him, and you see Jake just trying to hold the oh shit bar and slide the door shut, and you just hear this screaming, hang on, and then the door shuts and their high-speed chase is off. So we're sweating bullets, right, because we have no way of getting back to our cars. We're like 15-20 minutes away from where we ate dinner. We have no way of getting back to our vehicles, and we are trying to call anyone in the car, but obviously, you're in the middle of a high-speed chase. I don't blame them for not texting back or calling, but we can kind of see the chase taking place. Like, you see the two sets of headlights weaving in and out of these hills in this neighborhood. And we're just kind of waiting. It was probably only like a 15-20 minute waiting period, but it felt like hours because you're just like, you don't know what's going on. Suddenly you see these headlights coming from the other direction. We're hiding behind that display neighborhood sign, like the brick or wood signs with like the name of the neighborhood. And we're kind of hiding there waiting. And Monty's knees all swollen from falling down. And, so we're trying to rally the troops to get the team back together here. Well, here come these headlights real slow. It's Lenny coming from a completely opposite side of the neighborhood. And we're like, dude, we jump in, we're driving back. We're like, how did you outrun a fucking Jag? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. You're in a 2001 Toyota Sienna. And he's like, hey, man, when you get in the neighborhoods and you start speeding and running stop signs, cars like that don't want to keep up with you. And I'm like, that was the funniest thing I ever heard. And again, it comes back to Lenny. Lenny was like Baby Driver. For those of you who haven't seen Baby Driver, that was Lenny, but instead of all the cool cars in Baby Driver, it was a minivan. So Lenny was the greatest operator of a minivan I've ever met. I will say that to the day I die. But that one was wild. I couldn't believe we didn't get caught at anything. And more fireworks-related stories to come on this podcast. But that was mint. That was one of my favorites. So talks to Tom. I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up in the way of the street getting paid, but I can't even breathe no more. What's it to me? What can I see? Taking shots by the